Welcome back to another episode of the Casey Campbell Podcast. Casey Campbell with you, of course. Pleased to be joined by John Gaylas, the head football coach at Clay High School. How's it going?
Going well, Casey. I appreciate you having me on.
All right. First off, of course, coming in from, this is year two in the NL in the Northern Lakes League. Of course, you came from, like a lot of other schools, came from the old track conference when the Catholic schools in that conference went over to the Catholic League. But overall, year one, how do you feel like that went for you guys?
A little disappointing for sure. Uh, we lost a lot of close games in our division play, which was really frustrating. We lost in three overtimes to Napoleon, one score game to Sylvania Southview. The Fremont Ross game was a one score game until real late in the game. So definitely a little frustrating. The NLL is a great league, and the Buckeye division, rightfully so, gets kind of a lot of attention. Although when you look at our division, the Cardinal division, every team in our division made the playoffs last year, so it's a really good division.
Yeah. So when you look, so for people that may not know, practice already has started for you guys. So it started on August 1st. So, and you guys are in full pad because I know you can do your installation days in, I believe, in like July or something. So
Yeah.
what has practice really kind of been like, just these last few days, knowing that you're in pads and you can install, and you guys have already installed stuff, so probably planning on that week one game against Sandusky.
Yeah. It's our practices have gone pretty well. The competition has been great. And that's how you get better, when you got guys fighting for jobs, and we definitely have that. Our first scrimmage is this Saturday, so we'll definitely have a little better handle as to where we're at after we get through that first scrimmage.
Okay. Okay, so time to really kind of talk about a lot of the guys that are going to be returning, some of the guys that are going to be some of the guys to watch on your team this year. We'll start with the offense, then go to defense, and then go to special teams.
Sure. Obviously, with our offense, it starts with our quarterback, Mason Heinschel. He's the returning offensive player of the year in our league. He's a University of Pittsburgh commit. He's the best we've ever had at Clay High School. That's for sure. He's great at extending plays and finding guys that are open. A lot of quarterbacks will extend plays and they'll run the ball. They'll take off running. And Mason does a great job of extending plays and then finding open receivers. So he is obviously the centerpiece of our offense. And it's great to have him back there and to start with him. We have a couple talented receivers. Troy Hazuda, going to be a 3-year starter for us. Troy was all district last year. Mason and Troy have played together since third grade. They have great chemistry together. Troy has great hands. Some of the catches he makes are you wouldn't believe it unless you saw it. He's getting way better at a route runner. He's really working on his craft, which is great for us. We have tight end Hudson Byers, another all-district guy. Hudson has done a fantastic job for us. He's tough to defend. He's a 6'3", 230-pound tight end that, he's a matchup problem, certainly for defenses. Our tailback, Jake Tigmeyer, it's a real tough downhill runner. He started for us last year. Aaron Miller, another receiver for us who's played a lot of football for us, returning starter. Brody Ostrander at our H, We really like our skill guys. We did lose a couple of offensive linemen. Jacob Sauerbeck went to Central Michigan. Aiden Cantu is at Ashland University. So we have to replace those guys. That's kind of what we're working on right now, is just mixing and matching different offensive line combinations to find out which one is the best for us. Your offensive line is the most important unit on your team. And if they're gelling, you got a chance. You got a chance to win every game. So it's critical for us that we find the right lineup.
Yeah. Let's go to the defense.
All right. So defensively, we got certainly some experience back. We took Landon Eversman, who was a second team all-league linebacker last year. He's actually playing defensive end for us right now. He's done a fantastic job at defensive end. Leon Carey is another returning starter. He's an interior defensive lineman for us. Leon will also play a little offensive line. He's done a great job for us. We're young at linebacker. We got 3 juniors at linebacker, but we really like what we have there. Carter Whaley started for us as a sophomore last year. He's the most experienced linebacker we have. We're certainly looking for big things from him. And then our secondary, we definitely have some experience in the secondary. 3 out of the 4 guys are returning starters for us. So that's nice. In Braden Schultz, Evan Harvey, and Austin Gaylas. So that's nice to have those guys there. So we definitely do have some experience on defense, and we're really looking forward to making some strides on that side of the football. We feel like we should be much improved defensively this year over last year.
Yeah. Special teams, where are we at there, John?
We got to replace our punter and kicker. Last year we had an all-league kicker that we have to replace. Derek Harmer, who plays some free safety for us, probably will do both for us, although Hudson Byers is kind of in the mix too. But we're probably looking at Derek being our punter and our kicker.
Okay. Well, now we've talked about all the kids. Let's talk about the upcoming schedule for you guys. I'll just run through this real quick. Of course, the fun starts August 23rd at Sandusky, and then of course August 30th, the home opener against Northview, which is also, I believe, your youth night.
Yeah.
September 6th at Whitmer. September 13th, home against Finlay. That is, of course, the Hall of Fame game. September 20th at Perrysburg. September 27th, home against Bowling Green, which is also homecoming. October 4th at Fremont Ross. October 11th, home against Napoleon. October 18th at Southview, and then finishing out the regular season at home against Rogers High School, which is senior night. So pretty good schedule. Year two of the NLL. How do you see the schedule faring for you guys? What do you think?
Oh yeah, well, 8 of our opponents made the playoffs last year. So 8 out of 10. That's our schedule is pretty demanding for sure. Tough opener on the road at Sandusky. Last year that game literally went down to the last second of the game. So we certainly got a tough one there. Weeks 3, 4, and 5 are certainly tough. At Whitmer, home against Finley, and then at Perrysburg. Those 3 schools will certainly be in the conference race in the upper division and in the Buckeye division of the NLL. So we certainly know what that's all about. And then we look forward to getting into our division play after those 3 games. The one thing about our division last year was the variety of offense that we saw last year. When we played in the track pretty much, everybody was a spread team. So, we were real familiar with that. We get in the NLL and we're seeing, wing T stuff out of Bowling Green. Napoleon gives you a little bit of that. Yeah, those are schemes our kids have never seen before until last year. So that was a challenge for sure. So we're definitely looking forward to our division and just getting back after it and hopefully win a championship.
Yeah, for sure. And you really just these next few weeks, I know, I know that, scrimmage is coming up and all these different things. School is starting up here in a few weeks for you guys as well. What are these next few weeks going to look like before that game on the 23rd?
Yeah, it's pretty hectic. Our kids go back to school on August 19th. We actually, as teachers, go back to school August 12th. So next week we will kind of be in our normal regular season practice mode because of the teachers being back in school. It's actually, I like going back to school before your first game. Our kids, they're back in school that Monday before our first game. They kind of get in a routine, which I feel is a really good thing. So when that Friday rolls around, we've been in school for a week, and they're by that time they're adjusted to actually getting up and going to school every day. When last year we played before we started school, and you always worry about that because you don't know, they're at home, they're up late at night, you don't know, you really don't know what they're doing. But now, since we're going to start school before our first game, that routine sets in.
Absolutely. So yeah, we'll forward to seeing what that looks like, that first game against Sandusky on
Absolutely, yeah.
So, all right. Well, John, thank you so much for the time as always, and best of luck to the Eagles this season.
Thank you, Casey. Really appreciate you having me on, and look forward to talking to you again.